So, without further ado, let's begin the reveal of the tournament brackets from the NCAA and its corporate champion, Coca-Cola. These are first and second round games on Saturday and Monday, and the overall #1 seed is Gonzaga, with the Bulldogs heading up the West region, and why not? 26-0 on the year, 15-0 in the West Coast. That's 4 #1 seeds for the Zags in the last 8 tournaments. Cannot come as a surprise to these guys, and well-deserved, well-earned.
Have a chance to be the first undefeated team since 1976. Best of luck.
So who are they going to play? They will play the winner coming out of the first 4, which is on Thursday, March the 18th. That contest will be either the Spartans of Norfolk State or the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. And we have talked to these guys for weeks now. The Spartans returning to the NCAA tournament for the second time in school history. And the Mountaineers of Appalachian State won the Sun Belt tournament. They make their first NCAA tournament appearance since the year 2000. So they will do battle in order to meet Gonzaga. Now, Oklahoma, the Sooners, the #8 seed. Coach Lon Kruger's Sooners went 15-10. First team since 1974 to defeat 4 top 10 teams in a calendar month. They will take on the 9th seed Missouri Tigers out of the SEC. 16-9 on the year, 8-8 in the Southeastern Conference, led by Coach Quanzo Martin. So it'll be Missouri against Oklahoma. Now, out of the Big East, the Creighton Blue Jays, the #5 seed. The Blue Jays, 20-8 on the year, 14 wins in the Big East this year. The Blue Jays reaching the Big East tournament final. Now, #12 seed, UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos. If you've been listening to this show, you know the 2 gentlemen next to me are saying, beware the Gauchos. Their Big West record in school history, 13-3 on the year. Continuing, the #4 seed out of the ACC, Virginia's Cavaliers, defending champions from 2 years ago. Cavaliers won the ACC regular season title. Seth?
Well, remember, Virginia has COVID issues. Some of their players are not going to get to Indy until a few days from now.
All right, meanwhile, who will they play? They will take on 13th seed Ohio Bobcats. Coach Jeff Bowles captained the '94 team to the MAC regular season and tournament title. He takes them there as their coach. Moving down to the bottom half of the bracket, the #6 seed, the Trojans of USC. They've got Evan Mobley, the Pac-12 Player of the Year, going for them. And they will play the winner of a first 4 contest between the Shockers of Wichita State and Drake's Bulldogs.
Yeah, Drake getting in was a big topic of conversation. They've had injury issues. Their win over Loyola made it to the final game. Wichita State slid all the way down into the first 4, but they got in there. 2 bubble teams in the bracket.
#3 seed in the West region, the Kansas Jayhawks. Coach Bill Self, 22 straight NCAA tournament appearances. They will take on the 14th seed Eagles out of Eastern Washington, going to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015. The #7 seed out of the Pac-12, the Oregon Ducks. The Ducks, 11 straight 20-win seasons, the Pac-12 regular season champions. And they will take on the 10th seed VCU Rams. The Rams, 19-7 on the year. A trip to the Atlantic 10 tournament finals, a second-place finish during the regular season. And the #2 seed, the Iowa Hawkeyes out of the Big Ten. Iowa won 14 Big Ten games for the first time since 1987. They come in at 21-8 overall, 14-6 in the conference, and they will take on, out of the Western Athletic Conference, the Antelopes of Grand Canyon. Coach Bryce Drew, in his first season, led the Antelopes to their first WAC regular season title. Congratulations, as Grand Canyon rounds out the overall West region. Dozens of teams across the country anticipating where they may go, who they might play, including Alabama, Loyola of Chicago, Morehead State. Quarter of the 68-team field is set, and the March Madness selection show continues. We will reveal the South region. Let's turn our attention to the upper right quadrant, where we will look at the South region. These are first and second round games Friday and Sunday, March 19th and 21st. And the #1 seed, the Baylor Bears, for the first time in school history. Clark, Baylor, a #1 seed in the tournament.
No surprise here. Clearly early on in mid-season, this team was as dominant as any team in the country. They've not quite gotten back to that pace because of COVID issues, but I expect Baylor to get to Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium as a Final Four team.
Who will be taking on the Hartford Hawks out of the America East Conference. They beat UMass Lowell in the America East Tournament Final by 14 points. The number 8 seed, North Carolina's Tar Heels. Second team out of the ACC. The Heels reach the NCAA tournament for a 10th straight season. They will take on 9th-seeded Wisconsin. The Badgers out of the Big Ten. Badgers played the 6th toughest schedule.
Always do. Always play a tough schedule.
Out of the Big East, 5th seed, Villanova's Wildcats, 16-6, 11-4. Within the conference, Wildcats won its 7th Big East regular season title in the last 8 years. They will face 12th seed Winthrop, the Eagles, out of the Big South.
I love the Eagles classic 12-5 upset. Remember, Villanova doesn't have their point guard, Colin Gillespie. Winthrop is going to win that game.
Filling out the Big Ten, or filling out the rest of the bracket, 4th seed out of the Big Ten is Purdue, the Boilermakers. 6 straight NCAA tournament appearances. They will meet the 13th seed Mean Green of North Texas out of Conference USA. And the Big 12, 6th seed, 4th out of the Big 12, the Red Raiders of Texas Tech.
The Big 12, second toughest conference in the country, and I think Texas Tech as a 6th seed is a very dangerous team. Keep an eye on the Red Raiders, folks. They could do damage from that spot.
Their opponent, the 11th seed out of Mountain West, is Utah State, the Aggies, a second-place finish in the Mountain West Conference.
That's a bubble team. That's the one team that I had out for this bracket at least, and they're an 11 seed, so didn't even have to play in the first 4. Respect for the Mountain West that beat San Diego State twice.
And that is a delicious matchup, those two teams.
The number 3 seed from the Southeastern Conference, the Arkansas Razorbacks, ended the SEC regular season winning their last 11 games, and a happy bunch of Razorbacks, 22-6 on the year and 13-4 coming out of the conference. They will play Patriot League champion Colgate, the Raiders. We have been talking about the Colgate Raiders, and they score some points.
They are going to play this one on roller skates. This will be up and down, up and down. Both of these teams score, shoot the 3, and have a lot of guys that can do both.
The number 7 seed out of the SEC, the Florida Gators, 14-9 overall, 9-7. They have Trey Mann playing for them, leads the Gators in scoring and assists, and tied for the team lead in rebounding. And the number 10 seed from the ACC, the Hokies of Virginia Tech, were picked to finish 11th in the ACC, finishing 3rd, 15-6 on the year. Congrats to Vot Tech. And out of the Big Ten, the Buckeyes of Ohio State, you just saw them here put up a valiant effort against Illinois Fighting Illini. Buckeyes knocked off top seed Michigan on their way to the Big Ten tournament final.
Congratulations, fellas. OHIO, well done. What an effort today in that overtime loss to Illinois. Great grit and resilience by the Scarlet and Gray.
And they will face the 15th seed out of the Summit League, Oral Roberts. The Golden Eagles finished 4th in the Summit League, won the Summit League tournament title, beating North Dakota State. Several teams still nervously awaiting their fate, including Drexel, Oklahoma State, Clemson, and Rutgers. Another look at the reactions of a few of the teams excited to have a spot in the big dance. We'll reveal the Midwest region when the March Madness Selection Show continues on CBS. We are halfway through our 68-team tournament field. We begin the second half of our reveal of the brackets from the NCAA and its corporate champion, Capital One, with the lower right quadrant, the Midwest region. First and second round games Friday and Sunday, the 19th and the 21st. And Illinois Fighting Illini, the number 1 seed, one of the powerhouses down the stretch. And no surprise.
And they did come down the stretch. Nobody played better basketball than the Illini outside of Gonzaga the last 3 or 4 weeks, and that's how they moved themselves to that number 1 seed line. Going back a month ago, they weren't in that conversation.
They continue to cut the nets down in Indianapolis after their overtime victory over Ohio State. Now, watch Clark explode here. They'll take on the 16th seed Drexel Dragons.
I like that Drexel Dragon squad. Cam Winters, a terrific scorer for them. But
first time since '96.
Yeah, they're going to have a tough time, though. Probably a short stay for the Dragons.
Congratulations to Drexel. Meanwhile, out of the Missouri Valley, number 8 seed Loyola of Chicago, 24-4 on the year, 16-2, their 3rd regular season Missouri Valley title in the last 4 seasons. Who do they get? Look to the number 9 seed out of the Atlantic Coast Conference, the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech, their first ACC tournament championship in 28 years. Let's move on. Out of the SEC, the 5th seed, the Volunteers of Tennessee, reached the SEC tournament semifinal before losing to top seed Alabama. Who will Tennessee meet? Number 12 seed Oregon State. The Beavers, picked last in the preseason poll, advanced to the conference title game. Now, out of the Big 12, the number 4 seed in the Midwest, Oklahoma State. The Cowboys, their first Big 12 tournament final since '05, before they lost to Texas by 5 points. They've got Cade Cunningham going for them.
Yes, they do. He's big time.
Big 12 Player of the Year. Who will they meet? The number 13 seed, the Flames of Liberty. They made it 3 straight Atlantic Sun regular season and tournament titles this year. The Flames are 23-5.
Yeah, Liberty's a very dangerous 13th seed, but a couple of potential matchups. How about Loyola and Illinois maybe in the second round? And how about Cade Cunningham against Ayo Dosunmu potentially in the Sweet 16?
Number 6 seed in the Midwest, the Aztecs of San Diego State, second straight outright conference regular season title. They won the Mountain West regular season as well with the tournament championship, 23-4, 14-3 in conference. They'll take on 11th seed Syracuse. Jim Boeheim, 35th NCAA tournament appearance.
So there's going to be a lot of conversation about this one. Not only Syracuse as a bubble team in, but avoiding the first 4, 1-7 against Quad 1. They beat North Carolina by 2 points at home on March the 1st. Buddy Boeheim had 26. That is what put them not only in the tournament, but not even in the first 4. A little bit of a surprise.
And they've got a tough matchup with the San Diego State Aztecs team. I really think this team can make a run. In part, they've won 14 in a row, and they've got tremendous players in Matt Mitchell and Jordan Shackle leading the way.
Want to talk legendary coaches? Look at the number 3 seed, the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Bob Huggins will make his 25th NCAA tournament appearance. West Virginia 18-9 on the season. They will face the 14th seed Eagles of Morehead State, who won 16 of their last 17 regular season games. Morehead State 23-7 on the year. From the Atlantic Coast Conference, the Clemson Tigers 16-7, got off to a 9-1 start this season, 10 quad 1 and 2 wins. And the Tigers will meet the 10th seed out of the Big Ten, Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights. Back-to-back winning seasons for the first time since 91 and 92. So it'll be Rutgers versus Clemson. The number 2 seed in the Midwest region, the Houston Cougars, 24-3. They win their first AAC tournament, defeating Cincinnati after losing the previous 2 tournament titles to Cincinnati. And who will they face? The number 15 seed, Vikings of Cleveland State. Out of the Horizon League, Cleveland State makes its first NCAA tournament appearance since 2009.
Tell you what, this is a 2-15 matchup, but both of these teams play exactly the same style. Extremely aggressive defensively and with a lot of guys that contribute.
Welcome back, everyone. 3 brackets down, 1 to go. Several teams and their fans still waiting to see where and if their school makes it into the field of 68. Let's get to it. Final region of the tournament brackets from the NCAA and its corporate champions as we reveal the East region. These are games to be played Saturday and Monday, the 20th and the 22nd. And the number 1 seed is Michigan, the Wolverines. And what a nice stop it is for Juwan Howard, the head coach of the Wolverines.
Terrific job all season long. They've been a little banged up lately, limp into the tournament, well deserving of that number 1 seed.
And they will play the winner of the first 4 game on Thursday, March the 18th, between the Mountaineers of Mount St. Mary's out of the Northeast. 12-10 on the year, 9-7. They won the NEC tournament title, 17th in the nation in scoring defense. They do play some defense. They're going up against Texas Southern, the Tigers from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Tigers ended Prairie View A&M's 15-game win streak to secure the SWAC tournament championship. Moving on, the 8th seed in the East will be LSU. The Tigers went to the SEC tournament final for the first time since 1993. LSU 18-9.
That is a dangerous 8 seed because you think about perhaps them advancing and matching up with Michigan. That team is extremely, they show really well today against Alabama. And when they defend, they can score with anybody in the country.
We always talk about these 8-9 matchups. They're going to go up against St. Bonaventure. You saw them earlier in Atlantic 10 regular season title and Atlantic 10 tournament championships. The Bonnies are going to be facing a formidable opponent in LSU. Let's move on down the bracket. The 5th seed, the Buffaloes of Colorado at 22-8 out of the Pac-12 reach the Pac-12 tournament finals before losing to Oregon State. They will meet 12th seed Georgetown. The Hoyas out of the Big East. Their first Big East tournament title since 2007.
If you want to grab hold of a 12 over a 5, the way the Hoyas rolled through the Big East tournament in New York, they certainly are playing at a high level, and this is a comfortable matchup going against Colorado.
I like Georgetown in that game, too.
Let's round out this part of the bracket with the number 4 seed out of the ACC, the Florida State Seminoles, 16-6 on the year. Coach Leonard Hamilton brings the Seminoles back to the tournament for a 4th straight year. They reached the ACC tournament finals before losing to Georgia Tech.
How about a potential Sweet 16 between Florida State and Michigan? I like the Seminoles in that one, Clark, for the Elite Eight.
Take a look. The 13 seed, the Spartans of UNC Greensboro at 21-8. They beat Mercer in the Southern Conference Tournament Championship game. Now, new part of the bracket. 6th seed, BYU from the West Coast. 2nd in the WCC during the regular season, losing to top seed Gonzaga in a game that led by as many as 14. 8 quad 1 and 2 wins. The BYU Cougars at 20-6. They will play the winner of the first 4 game on Thursday, the 18th.
Wow.
Michigan State at 15-12 as Tom Izzo appears in his 23rd straight NCAA tournament. And UCLA, the Bruins, the number 11 seed, ending the season on a 4-game losing streak.
Championship games in the first 4.
Wow.
That sound you heard was everyone in America falling off their couch. Frankly, I'm surprised that those teams ended up in the first 4. Michigan State has beaten all 3 number 1 seeds in this tournament and still ended up in the first 4. That's 2021.
But they're in.
They're in.
All right, the number
Been a long
3
wait
seed,
for those 2.
Number 3 seed in the East region, Shaka Smart's Texas Longhorns, 19-7 on the year. They win their first ever Big 12 tournament championship.
And this team early on was playing as well as anybody, hit a skid, but have now ascended, and they're a threat to get to Lucas Oil Stadium.
They will play the Wildcats of Abilene Christian out of the Southland Conference. Ran away from Nichols 79-45 in the Southland Tournament Final. The number 7 seed, the UConn Huskies out of the Big East. They return to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2016, and they will meet 10th seed Maryland. The Terps, 16-13 on the year. The Terps are in the NCAA tournament 5 times now in the last 6 seasons. And at the very bottom, the number 2 seed, Alabama, the Crimson Tide, 24-6, won the SEC regular season title for the first time in 19 years, then won their first SEC tournament final, defeating LSU by 1. They will meet the 15th seed, guess who? The Gales of Iona. Headed up by Rick Pitino, the 3rd coach in NCAA history to take 5 schools to the NCAA tournament. They won the MAC tournament title, defeating Fairfield. All right, the breakdown of conferences that earned multiple bids looks like this. No surprise, the Big Ten leads the way with 9 teams. The Big 12 and ACC are next with 7 bids. 5 conferences received 2 bids each. Should any of these conferences have a team withdraw, a replacement team will fill their spot in the bracket. Now, the 4 teams that just missed the 68-team tournament field, Louisville, Colorado State, St. Louis, Ole Miss, are in that order on standby to replace any team from a multi-bid conference that is forced to withdraw. No replacement teams will be added after Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Any withdrawals after this deadline will be ruled a no contest. If champion of a 1-bid league withdraws, it would be replaced by a team from the same league. The Tuesday deadline still applies. Any incoming team assumes the position in the bracket of the team it replaces. There will be no teams joining the field once the tournament begins. That said, let's turn our attention back to the last 4 teams that just made the field and the first 4 teams that are on the outside looking in. Team you feel should have made the field of 68, and if so, Seth, who would you replace?
Well, I had Louisville in the tournament, Utah State out. But what strikes me is you see the number of games played by Louisville and St. Louis. Look, everybody had to deal with COVID pauses. Louisville had a 19-day pause in February. That's hard to come back from. And then they lost to Duke in the ACC tournament, Clark. If they had won that game,
perhaps
they would be in. I feel bad for all those teams that didn't get in. But those 2 in particular, of all the schools that really were impacted by all the COVID disruptions, those are the 2 that stood out. And at the end of the day, there just wasn't enough room for them in the tournament.
That's exactly what it comes down to. Again, you have to earn the invitation. And when the committee looked at all the factors, that's where they landed. And I really don't have an issue with how it unfolded in that regard.